Okay, I'm gonna just read across my screen now that everybody has a name on there and ask you to go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself in 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, Nancy, Andre,
tell us
you're
about
first.
Fran,
boy,
or
first.
tell us about a favorite memory of
Or a
Minnechaug.
favorite memory.
Yeah, if they don't want to talk about themselves.
I'll tell you one thing that I just really liked about the mini reunions that I didn't comment on earlier. We sat there at Rice's and I knew everybody except for Mary Twining, and I knew the name, but I didn't know the face. I didn't know what she was, who she was, what she was involved in school. And I thought, boy, this is really a nice opportunity to have a second chance to know some really interesting people that you didn't even notice or you didn't cross paths in high school. So that was one thing about the mini reunions that I thought was really worthwhile. And that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thanks. David?
Hello.
Hi.
Again, I'm down in Harwich on the Cape, been here since late 70s. Retired from the police department and still teaching at the police academy. And we're really interested in helping out with this as much as I can. I made a phone call today to the Hamden House as a possible location to have one of the meet and greets. And they gave me a contact information for one of the managers. So I'll going to do that either today or tomorrow, and then have a little bit more information for the next Zoom session as for a possible location.
Hey, Dave, if you're in the police department, maybe you ought to check the prison system for some of our old classmates. You never know who still may be there. I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility, I think.
Ricardo,
Fran,
you're
keep it rolling.
next.
Oh no, I'll take a pass. People should
Okay.
just know that people have asked me, why, Ricardo, why are you dedicating so much time to this? And I see it as a wonderful opportunity to give back to all of you, to our whole class, because we haven't done a great job of keeping in contact. We already know that. And we all have life stories to tell. So I've had a great time catching up with most of you I've caught up with, and others too that are not here. And that's what's going on. I'm here. I've had a very good life, and I've lived in many places around the world, and I'm here temporarily. I'm trying to get to Ecuador, but COVID stopped us from doing that. But one of these days, all of you are going to have an invitation to go to Cuenca, Ecuador. So that's what I'm doing. But I will see all of you in October, if not sooner. I may even get to Wilbraham before then. The other thing is, you should know Bradley Field is now servicing, or Breeze Airways is now servicing Bradley Field, so that you can get to more places with a direct flight. So those of us that are in around the world and in Wilbraham, you can get out of there and go fly somewhere if you want. We may have a mini reunion in South Florida, right, Jill? Where's Jill?
I'm in North Florida, but I'll drive down there.
Okay. Oh, no, we're going to have it, unless you move the NASA Cape Canaveral, we're going to have a mini reunion down there and at your place in St. Augustine's. So we need to do that. We want to honor Janice Voss. I haven't had a chance to talk about that yet. We will in the future. But we want to do something to increase the memorial attention that she's getting at Minnechaug, or should I say not getting at Minnechaug. We want to inspire some young people with STEM, and our class is probably the one that should be doing it. So that's just an idea. All right, but that's my 2 minutes. Thank you very much, folks. And thank you
And
for
I'd
being
also
here
like
tonight.
to throw in that we met up with Ricardo on our trip a couple months ago to Vegas, and we had a good time.
Yeah, that was definitely a great time. I was able to keep up with you and Sharon. I was not able to keep up with Jim Masita and his significant other and Lenny and Rosemary. I couldn't do it. But everybody is welcome here. If you have some kind of trip, make sure you tell me and we can call that a mini reunion also. Thank you.
Great.
Okay. Cheryl, unmute yourself and Take your turn.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say thank you, Ricardo, for putting all of this together. It's pretty amazing. It's also amazing it's been 50 years. For me, I've been in Vermont for 30 years. I worked at Still Mountain Resort for about 10 of those years. And now I'm still working up at a company, Concept 2 in Morrisville. And yeah, I love Vermont. I'm really happy to be here.
That's great.
That's good for now.
Dan, I think you're next, but you have to unmute.
There you go.
There you go.
I heard a comedian on TV one time say you should never, ever go to a high school reunion because there's a lot of really old people there who swear they went to school with you. So I just want to say that it's great seeing everyone. Because of your email, Ricardo, with Brad Buckles, I emailed him today. He and I worked together on the highway department under Herb Butler. And so we were sharing some laughs over that. So the connecting has been really great. Anyway, I made the Air Force my career, did 30 years in that. I was a security police when I was enlisted because they wanted to make me one. I didn't choose it, but it worked out. I became a chaplain when I was an officer. And so I did 30 years, retired in San Antonio, Military City, USA. And it was in the high 60s today and sunny. So you guys in Vermont, I don't know, but yeah, nice weather today. So it's just great seeing everyone again. And I can't wait to see it all because I got more stories to tell you and swap with you and tell you some things. So just great seeing everyone again.
Andy?
Well, I am living in Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. My husband and I, we have 2 boys and 2 granddaughters and came down here 5 years ago. After we both lost our parents and had no more family up in Wilbraham or in that area. So we decided to come down here to be near family. So we're near one of our sons and 2 of our granddaughters. So we're getting, enjoying watching them grow up. And I'm looking forward to hopefully coming back to Wilbraham in October and catching up with some of you folks.
Thanks. John?
Hi, good evening, everybody. Those of you who may or may not remember me, I was at Minnechaug up until 2004, after 36 years, and took a little break. Believe it or not, I just retired in June. I went back to teaching at the elementary level to help somebody out. It just so happened my granddaughter goes to the school there and she was not too happy about my retiring, but she's adjusting very well. And my daughter is sort of took my place. I was, believe it or not, those of you who know me knew me as a French teacher. Well, I saw the handwriting on the wall, went back to school, got my degree and certification in Spanish, and been doing Spanish ever since. So, but it was kind of interesting because Ricardo had written me a few times, and I have to say I was very impressed with his French. So I'm happy about that.
Not a Spanish.
My time. I do remember Barbara, believe it or not, I had no idea you were on the Cape. I spent most of my time there from April till November in Dennisport.
Oh.
And if you're on Cape, I have the pleasure of seeing David Jasek from time to time because he was on the police force in Harwich, and I work at the Star Market, Shaw Star Market, all summer long, and on Sisson Road in Harwich Port. So I do get to see quite a few former students, and believe it or not, even more parents than I do students. So, and most of them come in and their mouths drop and trying to figure out what the heck am I doing there? But I've been doing that for 30 some odd years now. And my family and I have a little seasonal, well, they call it a condo. It used to be a motel that they converted into little efficiency condos. So we are in Dennisport. Those of you familiar with the Lower County Road, and if you've heard of the Dog House, we're in that neighborhood. So I work in a deli over there part-time. all summer long into the early fall, and have the pleasure of seeing a lot of former students. I mean, I've gone to the Scallop Festival that used to be in Bourne, and I had two interesting experiences. When my granddaughter was born, I took her to West Ennis Beach to stick her toes in the water there, and someone was yelling my name out from the parking lot. And I says, "Guy has to know me." He said Prisbillowitz, right? And I happened to be a student. I had my third year of teaching at Minnechaug, which was
Wow.
around 1970. All right, so it's been interesting, but like I said, I get to see David, and we touch base on different things, and it's been kind of fun. It was really strange going to the elementary level, but I adjusted, and I finally retired from that. And except for maybe a little time on the Cape, I really don't plan on working very hard, other than trying to help out people that I know and are looking for some help. But I have to say, I very much enjoyed listening to all the stories this evening, and I'm a little embarrassed to say I don't think I would have recognized a whole lot of you, but I did recognize names, so I'm happy about that. I still have a little bit left upstairs. I don't know how much, but it's a challenge. Well, I want to wish you the very best, and I'm certainly looking forward to that. I think it's going to be quite an experience, and it's interesting because I remember my 50th, and you have an opportunity to make the most of it, because I've lost a ton of classmates, and just getting together and telling stories, it's an opportunity at this point of our lives to be able to do that. And I don't take anything for granted these days, because I celebrated my retirement from CHOG with open heart surgery, and the guy upstairs apparently wasn't ready for me because I'm still around. So I wish you all the best. You look fantastic. I love listening to you, and I've had some great stories, and I'm going to try to get hold of some of these former colleagues of mine. I did speak with Mr. Granado earlier today. He's in Sarasota, Florida these days, and he just happens to be my neighbor at the Cape, so we see a lot of each other during the summer. So it's we've had some really good times. So I don't want to monopolize here, but I just want to say hello to everybody. Wish you the very best. Please stay healthy, and you folks have a wonderful holiday season, and look forward to hope to see you in the fall. Okay.
Okay, thank
For
you.
coming. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, my pleasure. When I
Cindy-
first saw the phone and it had Ricardo's name, and I says, this has to be a mistake. When he called back the second time, I says, oh hell, I'm going to answer it. There he was. I couldn't believe my ears, but unbelievable. Yeah, I remember him well. Okay, I can even tell you where he sat. He was right up front. I think Linda was too, but anyway, that's a story for another day. All right, you folks take
Thank
good
you.
care. All right.
Muchas gracias, señor Prisbillowitz.
De nada, señores.
Hasta la próxima.
Sí.
Cindy Robertson.
Yeah, it's so fun to see all these names. I can't remember a lot of faces, but yeah, this is kind of fun. We've been living up in Vermont for a very long time. Most of after I left high school. I have two sons who are both loving the outdoors as well. And most recently spent about 15 years at our local state college doing payroll HR type stuff. And yeah, so that's my story.
Thanks. Barbara?
I'm good. I've probably said enough.
Pam?
Hi, everyone. It's so good to see your faces again, the people that I saw last month, and then to see new faces. It's awesome. And Ricardo, great job on that spreadsheet. That's fantastic. I've had some
Yeah.
fun tracking down some classmates, and I'll continue to do more. I found this weekend, I found Joanna Dett, and I found her through the obit, through her dad's obit. So
There's
Barbara,
a system there.
yeah, but as far as my life story, After high school, I went to college in New York State. I became a registered nurse, and I've been working in healthcare for 50 years, almost 50 years. And I have 3 kids. I have 3 grandkids. I've traveled a lot. I traveled a lot as a child, and I continue to have continued to travel through my adult life, and it's my passion. I've been to 49 out of 50 states. I've missed North Dakota, so and I've traveled around the world.
Wow.
Too. So yeah, so that's really my
That's
passion.
awesome.
I'm still working. I work for CVS Health. I work in health education, and I'm retiring in April, so I'm really excited for my new chapter. I finally made the decision. It took me, I keep pushing it off, but I'm now ready. So I'm looking forward to that. I stay active, and my husband and I love to play pickleball. Any of you Florida folks, I'm an avid pickleball player, and we just have fun. I have this saying that I'm always telling my kids and my nieces and nephews: live life, enjoy life, have fun. And that's what this is about. This is about living life, all of us being together.
Thank you. Jenny Faye, hi.
Hi, it's so great to see everybody. And John, I remember your class very fondly. I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
And I've spent the last years in music. I'm an organist and choir director, and I've taught piano and organ privately, and I've taught in college and seminary. And coming this spring, I am going to be retiring from playing because I want my Sunday mornings. And see, 3 years ago, I ended up having open heart surgery to repair a valve. And that got me thinking about things, and I'm just so glad to be back. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in person.
Thanks. Thank you. Linda?
Hi everyone. I've been on the Cape for 46 years. I have 2 grown sons. I've been in the banking business for 22 years. I'm currently working at Otis Air Force Base in the finance department. Again, it's so great to see everyone. And Candy, I remember Candy.
I remember you.
It was so good to see you.
I know. I just have good
Yeah.
memories.
Yep. And everyone. And Ricardo, again, thank you for everything that you do.
Let's go to Linda Johnson. Good.
Hi, it's good to see you all. I checked back on the yearbook that, I don't know if Dave, maybe you sent it, or Ricardo, maybe you sent it. Just trying to remember all the names, and I'm shocked that there were 340 in our class. It just doesn't seem possible. But it's good to see you, and as I see your names here, I do remember you, and you all look the same.
Your eyesight is gone.
That's a big lie.
How did that cataract surgery go, Linda?
Yeah,
You got
I haven't
one eye
had
or
it yet.
both eyes?
I'm working on that. So
Nice try.
I raised my kids in Massachusetts and moved here to South Portland, Maine about 12 years ago, and started my own business, trying to wean myself away from that business. Somebody said they're having a hard time letting it go. I'm trying to turn my business over to my daughter-in-law. So the pressure is being eased slowly, and I'm hoping next year it will be all turned over. I have 2 children. One lives in Mass, one lives in Maine, and I've got three grandkids. And
Right.
the Google Sheets, I'll be looking at that and seeing if I can make any additions to it. Thanks all for all your work in making this happen.
Chris?
Yes, the first thing I'll say is I will return Ricardo's phone call now that I know it's not a scam. So I will take care of that. You know, when you first started going over the spreadsheet and you mentioned Linda Allen, you know, this is just great seeing a couple of faces on there. I think I see Jill Trevelyan, Sue Coburn, and you know, we were just talking about sled riding now that I live in California and what we miss. And it was like, oh my God, all the times we would go riding on weekends and days back there was great. But Linda Allen's name, when you brought her name up, she happened to be in the car when we were getting our license. And she was doing a parallel parking. Three of us were stuck in the back seat with whoever the instructor was. We were all like in the rear view mirror, like, stop, please don't do anything. She ran the car behind us. She still got her license, but God bless her, just, you know, brings a tear to my eye because such a memory. Anyway, my wife of 43 years, I met her at Springfield College after Minnechaug. Went off to Springfield, swam at Springfield. In fact, Tom Wimet, who's not on the call tonight, was roommates with still a very good friend of mine, Mark Gulo, who swam. And we're still in touch and still see each other quite a bit. We moved to California. My first job was in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was a school teacher and swim coach in Cincinnati. And then I got recruited into the insurance business with Fireman's Fund Insurance Company and Travelers Insurance Company. I spent about 30 years. They transferred us to the Bay Area. We lived there up until about 4 years ago. We unfortunately were part of a firestorm that took away 25,000 residents all the way around us.
Wow.
And so that's when we decided, well, let's move down to the ocean. So we live in Arroyo Grande, which is by Pismo Beach, and it's in the middle of a wine country on the central coast, about an hour north of Santa Barbara. So anyone is always welcome. We have a great couple of places for you to stay at and enjoy. So I just look forward to getting in touch with everybody again, because it has been so many years, but like somebody said, feels like yesterday. 4 kids, all grown, all adults, and 6 granddaughters. And our first grandson was born 2 weeks ago. Thank God. I came from 6 boys that went, and 3 of us went through Minnechaug, and the other 3 got moved around. But so it was like, holy mackerel, I thought I was destined just to have girls in my life. But thank God we've got some boys going now. And it's great to see all of you.
Thanks. David Roberts.
Hey, everybody. So let's see. I moved to Martha's Vineyard Island shortly after graduating from STCC, and spent 20 years on a police department down there. I worked my way up to lieutenant, was 6 months away from being chief. I was working day shift, Waterview office, weekends off, and I screwed it all up with a heart attack. So I have been retired 20 years and loving every bit of it. About 8 years ago, you know, after having some more heart issues, I realized that I don't like cold weather with my limited circulation. So I started coming to Florida, became a snowbird, and I spent 6 months down here and 6 months back up north. You know, I'm blessed to have this life. I can't believe that I do this. It's an amazing thing. I'm married to a wonderful woman who I brought to our 30-year class reunion and married her the year after. 3 kids from a prior marriage, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to
it. Thank you, Dave.
Dave, where in Florida are you?
I'm in a little town called Arcadia, so it's about 40 miles inland from Fort Myers, and the eye of the big hurricane passed right over our little town. I was talking to Ricardo. I went up on the roof and finally fixed the remaining roof shingles that had blown off. And I'll tell you what, don't climb a ladder. Don't pick up heavy objects. I hurt everywhere right now. It's just, I can't remember this stuff being like that when last time I did it.
That's funny.
Okay, Bob.
It's nice.
Hey, folks. Good to see all of you. I haven't been in touch with most of you, although Mary Loki and I have been in touch. And it's good to see you, Mary.
You too.
And Ricardo, it's hard to recognize you without your big sideburns. After I graduated, I moved to Boston to go to New England Conservatory, and I just stayed in the area. I live in Waltham now, and I teach now at New England Conservatory and Brandeis, running. I'm a jazz bass player now. Although I went to the conservatory as a classical composer, my life sort of went in the jazz direction. So I'm still doing that. Probably another 2 or 3 years teaching at Brandeis. I've been there for 25 now, and I'll leave that and I'll keep teaching at the conservatory until I drop, probably. I remember just a little story, Patty. I don't know if you remember this, but there were a few times, I don't know how long it went on for, but after school, we used to rush over to your house and watch Dark Shadows.
Barnabas Collins.
That's right. That's right.
Funny.
And Mary played on my audition tape for the conservatory. So thank you for that, Mary.
Yeah, I can't remember. Did you get in?
I did, yeah. It's all because of you. They said, "Who's that piano player?"
No, they didn't.
Oh, but yeah, all is well. I have a 27-year-old daughter, and she's doing great. She's a volunteer fire person, and drives for Brinks. So that's the name of that tune.
Risk.
All of you.
That's great. Mary Twining.
Hi. So Chris Ziegler, I was born in Cincinnati. And Dan Zulli, I want to connect with you because I hear you want to do some trivia. So I want to be part of that too. So after high school, after college, took me a bit to get through college. I went to the West Coast. I was out in California for about 20 years. And then about 20 years ago, I came back, pretty much raised my girls here in Wilbraham because I knew it was safe. I knew it was a good school system. I knew the town, and I retired as a teacher. I worked for LA Unified, and I worked for the town of East Longmeadow, and I retired just as COVID was coming into our lives, and as a teacher, we had to do that silly remote stuff. So I had a couple of months of that, and then I was able to retire. So I've been retired for about, I don't know, 3 years maybe, and life is good. That's it.
Thanks. Susan?
Oh, me, okay.
Yep, you.
So Susan Colburn. So I also have been a nurse. I was an ER nurse for 44 years. I retired 2.5 years ago, and I've never looked back. I love being a nurse, but I am so busy and I have so many friends, and I ski and bike, and I'm pretty active. And I have 2 sons and 3 grandchildren. And I also have a little place on Cape Cod in Dennisport. I've been to the doghouse and I've been to the little deli across the street. So, John, I might have seen you at some point. And that's pretty much it. I like to garden and hike and ride bikes, and I've got a bunch of really cool friends. We have a little ski slope about 3 miles away, and good walking trails and hikes. So it's life is good, and it's so great to see everybody. And I just have to laugh. I have Jill also slept on the beach.
Back on.
And I drove by my house, 6 months ago, and it was the most disappointing thing I've ever done. So I wouldn't do that again, and Speck Pond doesn't look like it used to. They cut all the trees down that we hid behind when the police came down the road. So anyways, it was all good. And I can also remember Jill hiking back from the little pond with the canoe on her head for about 2 months. All right, so we'll talk more about this at the reunion, but it's great to see everybody. It's really pretty cool, and I'm really excited about, coming down and seeing everybody, and maybe a mini get together on the Cape in May or June or something. So
That would be great.
Yeah.
Patty.
Hi. It's so good to see everybody, and we've had a ball. I mean, with all of us have been working on this together, we've had so much fun and seeing each other. I live in Middletown, Connecticut now. I moved 3 weeks ago. My partner of 8 years sold his house in the Reading, Mass area up near Waltham, Bob. I sold mine in East Long Meadow, and we built this house, and we are so thrilled to have this, which is one story living. One story.
Way to go.
I have one son, Matthew. He's wonderful. He lives in Tampa. Went to Wilbraham Munson, unfortunately, because he needed a little discipline, some serious discipline, and it really cracked him right into shape. It was great. And actually, he had, some of you may remember Tim Harrington. He had Tim as a teacher there. But he is just a terrific child, and he went to Hofstra University. I've been in corporate HR. Who else was in HR? Payroll HR, Cynthia?
Cindy, I was doing payroll HR stuff. Yeah.
So I spent, I don't know, 15 years with a company called CDI. They were a $3 billion company and had 6,000 employees in my division, and lived on an airplane, and then decided I'd had enough. And I have worked now 20 years for the Employers Association of the Northeast. We are an HR legal team, and we have, 1,400 member companies, from Lego to Hasbro to Bay State Health. I mean, you name it. The town of East Long Meadow, and we basically guide them on employment law matters. I've cut down to 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I don't know, I may give it up.
Do it.
But my son is in Tampa, and I have a little grandson who's just starting to walk. He's absolutely gorgeous. Blue eyes, red hair. Have no freaking clue. And he's Mason Matthew, and I'm hoping they will come north for the school systems. No offense to anybody in Florida, but you're not known for your school system.
That's a fact.
But life is good. Life is good. Like many people who have been here, I am a cancer survivor. I'm very, very blessed, and have cardiomyopathy. So they wanted to put a defibrillator in me. Thank God it hasn't happened yet. They said I may just keep her alive, and I may not turn the battery off, and just let your heart keep going.
Yeah, no, I think I'm unmuted. I don't have the gray. I don't have the
But
microphone.
it's so good to see everybody. We're very lucky.
Thanks. Jill.
Well, let's see. I was in the Army for 9 years, Germany, South Carolina, Alabama, University of Notre Dame. Stayed up in Indiana for another 20 years after my 9 years in the service. And then took an early retirement from AT&T up there and moved to Florida and just retired about 6 years ago and love it. And like Sue, I haven't looked back. Best thing I ever did. So I live in St. Augustine and I walk the beach, I fish. No snow, I love it. Well, I don't love it right now where our electric went out, so I'm sitting in the car. Because I had to charge the phone with the car running. And I think one of my favorite things was the Ludlow Beautification Committee.
Oh, yes,
the local
I remember
book
that.
club.
LBC.
The local book club. Oh my God. And I'm
That's
looking
what my
forward
mother
to
thought when she
seeing
saw it in the yearbook. She thought it was a literary book club. Yes, come on, that's
Yeah,
what it is.
It was. That's what we told them. Ward believed us. She didn't care.
When Ricardo said he was looking at a site in Ludlow, I was like, do we bring paint cans with us and stop at the
You know, when I was up there this summer, I noticed there's no paint on the bridge. I didn't get it. What's that all about?
Oh, boy.
But
I remember stealing for sale signs with you, Jill.
yes, and Tommy Womet and I got arrested.
You know,
Right before graduation.
Yes.
We putting the school up for sale.
Yes,
Yeah,
I remember.
it was fun. Why we didn't end up in jail, I don't know, or end up in Wilbraham Munson Academy.
Yeah.
It was fun. I'd do it all over again.
Thank you. Adolfo.
Hello, everybody. This is the third one I've been in. I've seen most of you before, but those who haven't been on before, I've been living in Florida since 1978. I got married very late in life, so I don't have any grandkids. We have 3 kids. That the last one just moved out of the house in July. I'm in transitioning, and as far as work, I like working, and I like working in Latin America, where I spent probably the past 40 years. Ricardo knows all about it. And, I think the people I spent a lot of time with have been Ricardo because of he and I were both at IBM for the past 10 years of our careers, weren't they, Ricardo?
I did 17, Adolfo. You did more.
No, well, yeah, but we were on and off. I left and came back. And then Lenny Serdyka, I spent a lot of time with. I lived in the part of town where I think people forgot I even lived there, which is BB Road, which is way out, the last road before into Munson. And it was, my memories of Minnechaug were not as much of the social activity as many of you live downtown. Mine were mainly the athletics, the soccer team, and track. Track was to me a big party. I enjoyed it, a lot of fun there. So I do go home. My parents are still alive. I have 2 younger brothers there. So I do go back every once in a while. So.
Adolfo, what's the track record that you still hold after 50 years?
I was corrected by my brother. Apparently, Todd Zimmerman beat me. I had the longest throw in the javelin. If you remember, not Zimmerman, Dr. Schwindeman's son, Todd Schwindeman, who's now the CFO of Friendly's, and was taught by my brother to throw javelin, outthrew me through a 203. So I'm now a footnote.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fran, is that everyone?
No, a couple more. Mary Loki.
Hi, Mary.
Hey, Okay, so sorry for joining late. So good to see everybody. It was great to see Bob and Jenny. Oh my gosh, hi Jenny. I'm so happy to see you. So our biggest, my biggest memories, most special memories are certainly of the music program at Minnechaug and Mr. Killam, Dr. Killam, and the choraleers, and especially at Christmas time. And the choraleers would stand in the auditorium all around and sing the O Magnum Mysterium, and it was just such a great experience. And hearing Jenny play, I would love to. She went. Did she leave? No, there you are. I would love to hear you on your organ, Jenny, and when we come up in October next year. So I don't know if we can make that happen, but I'd love to play again. And another thing, isn't it Pam that lives in on Main Street? Is that you, Pam?
No,
I'm
in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Maybe Phyllis.
Phyllis does.
Phyllis.
Yeah, Phyllis is on Main.
Phyllis.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of my memories of Wilbraham at Christmas is the homes on Main Street with the wreaths on every window, and how beautiful that was. And United Church, and going to the Christmas Eve services there. It was just beautiful. So anyway, what else you want to know? Nothing. Our door is open, and Woodstock is a Atlanta metro area, and a lot of you, it sounds like you travel back and forth, so consider a place to stop. You're welcome in our home.
Thank you. And last but not least, Denise. There you go.
Hi. So first I want to know, Cynthia Robertson, where exactly in St. J do you live? Do you realize I've been there since 1977 also? I was a special ed teacher for about 8 years out of college. And then I stopped, I had kids, I have 2 daughters, and then I owned it after that. When they got older, I went to school, I owned and operated St. J Hardware. Have you ever gone into St. J Hardware?
Yeah, we did. We used to. Yeah. I live over on Pleasant Street. So from Concord Ave, between Concord Ave and the hospital.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know exactly where that is. I live in West Danville now on Joe's Pond. You're probably familiar with.
Oh, yeah.
Pond. Yeah, so that's where I live, all the time now. And I'm looking like St. John's Beer. Are you kidding me?
I was surprised when Terry Blodgett mentioned that Terry Blodgett Griffiths. So
yeah. And then Cheryl and Terry both live in Waterbury, and I'm actually in Stowe right now. I'm in Stowe during the week, and then I'm back on Joe's Pond on the weekend. So we got together a couple of weeks ago, and I'm thinking like, okay, I probably went into the grocery store, the bank, standing in line behind somebody and didn't know it.
We've probably passed some
all the time. Yeah, I'm sure all the time. We have to get together now that we literally live, biking distance from each other. The bike path is right, it's right in my backyard, so. And I retired a few years ago when Aubuchon Hardware bought it out. Ricardo, you said you went to school with, which Aubuchon did you go to school with? Danny?
Don, D-O-N.
Oh, okay. I didn't work. Yeah, I didn't work with him when they were buying us out. Yeah, I worked for them for about 3.5 years, got them through the worst of COVID. And then I'm like, I'm out of here, gave my notice, went to Plum Island. I said, I'm done. So I'm retired. Spent a lot of time with my grandchildren. So it's great. I'm blessed, So that's about it. That's a short version.
I think we're going to count, guys. I think we should count Cindy and Denise's little get together right now. That has to be a mini reunion that just happened within a reunion of the Zoom. That's how I felt.
Right, Cynthia. I was thinking with Cheryl and Terry, find a halfway point, and I googled it. I think it's Plainfield. I'm not sure what's in Plainfield where we can meet, but we'll find some place.
There's the Positive Pie.
Oh, Positive Pie. Yeah, we can meet there. Yeah, we could. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Great.
Did I miss anybody? Sometimes the pictures, if somebody goes in and out, the pictures will shift, but I think we got everybody.
Except you, Fran.
Oh, okay. I live outside of Kansas City, Missouri, and I've lived here, for 31 years now, I think. When I went to college at Bridgewater State College, now University in Massachusetts, and my senior year there, I had an internship at, and this is what it was named, the Hospital for the Criminally Insane. And it was very eye-opening to me. So I thought, I don't know, maybe I was kind of interested in prison reform, some different things. So I moved to Texas, talk about culture shock, and I got my master's degree there. I worked as a juvenile probation officer for several years, and then I got my PhD in criminal justice and criminology at Sam Houston State in Texas, and taught for a year at Ball State in Indiana, and then came down to Central Missouri State University here in Warrensburg, Missouri. We're about 50 miles southeast of Kansas City, and taught for 29 years, retired last year. Though I'm still teaching. Believe it or not, I still teach online classes. But yeah, I've taken up painting and have a great group of friends here. I do get back to New England quite often because my sister, I have a sister and two brothers up there, and one lives just in Springfield, so I am up there quite a bit. So hopefully I can see some of you soon. That's me in a nutshell.
Guys, let's give everybody a hand. They just gave us a couple of minutes of their lives, okay? So we just did 25 lives in 50 years review in 50 minutes. That's pretty good.